Creating a sanctuary of the mind is one of the most important aspects you can have in meditation. When you're in meditation, meditating upon whatever it is you have in your internal perception, there's a few key things I'd recommend to you. That's to actually visualize a mental state of peace. See, for me, a lot of the time when I'm teaching a yoga class for meditation, I focus on the idea of first beginning to see through the mind's eye. I say close the eyes, I get them into a very deep, relaxed breath process, and then I start to cultivate the metaphors of life. So maybe they'll start on a lotus. As they're starting on the lotus, they're watching as the dragonfly swarms around them. They're watching as the ripples of the pool, as the koi swim below them. They're watching as the trees expand and blow in the wind of experience. I'm getting them to use their imagination. And once they're in that imaginative state, they're not so much worrying about their past or their future, but they're focusing on that present moment of experience. And so from there, I work towards having them realize that they're actually, in their own temple, almost like a Shinto shrine, a Buddhist temple of white, like linen doors and open windows that the breeze can blow through. There's nothing in the house except for you meditating in peace in this temple, this, place of complete clarity. And outside of your house is the garden, the Zen garden, with, the walking paths of meditation. Outside the house is the pool of lotuses that you were just sitting upon. And you're creating a reality that is both from multiple perspectives. Creating it from the perspective of the lotus. When you're focusing on this perception of an experience here in this moment, in that internal mind, you begin visualizing yourself both from a third and first perspective. You're seeing yourself out there on the lotus. You're seeing yourself in here in the temple, and you're seeing yourself wherever you're meditating in that current moment. You're creating three forms of perception. You're creating the first person, the third person, and this persona of who you are in this moment. And so when you do that, you achieve a level of awareness that just increases all other aspects. When you're trying to learn something, one of the best things you can do is set your perception outside of yourself so you can see what you're doing in that moment. So if I was going to perceive how I'm speaking this, moment to you right now, I would perceive myself from the perspective of maybe where the camera is coming from. And I would see myself from that perspective. Or I would see it from a perspective over here, Maybe I see myself, looking at how I'm interacting with my camera and interacting with you at the same time. I'm setting my perception outside of myself. This is a great way to learn languages. You see yourself from the third perspective so you can witness the conversation on an external method. So when we get into this state of a meditative sanctuary, we create a place of peace that we can go to constantly. If you ever need to find a sanctuary of peace, you're just able to instantly travel into that perception. And it doesn't have to be a Shinto temple shrine. It could be a castle. It could be under a tree. It could be a room that you grew up in. It could be under the ocean in a cave. It could be directly in a ball of light. But once you create this, you give it some sort of endless boundary, a boundary that seems to limitlessly expand and give you room to expand upon. You don't want to create a limiting sanctuary, one that is a finite space, but seems to be infinite in that finite. So you create, with a Shinto shrine, almost you become a Buddha statue sitting inside the shrine by yourself, contemplating existence unmoving, unwavering, and having the light shimmer through these white panels as the dragonflies swarm through the open windows and the breeze drifts by, carrying the leaves and carrying love and compassion and through the breath of the nostrils. And you cultivate this in your mind's eye. And this is one of the great aspects of Qigong, is there's three pillars. There's breath, relaxation, and visualization. We're focusing on the visual capacities of creating a sanctuary. When you can live in your sanctuary, there's 3 forms of awareness. This is what I learned from acting school, is you have the awareness of, here I am in this moment, closed off into my own internal world. This is my reality, this is my experience. Then you have the second reality, which is the eye contact. This world and the world we're in right now is directly connected. And then you have the third presence of awareness, and that's, this is my world and I'm expressing my world outwardly, and it doesn't so much depend on you, but yeah, I'm still aware of you, but it's more about me in that sense. And when you combine all 3, being in your own world, being in everyone else's world, and sharing your internal world together, you've created a trinity of awareness. And that's great. That's fantastic, because you're living in all 3 states at one time. And whenever we have a trinity in life, you know, you'll find a lot in different forms of spirituality. You achieve a bit of clarity in that Father, Mother, and Son, that, you know, trinity of a Triforce, that trinity of courage, wisdom, power, that trinity of, you know, the Father, or I mean, the Holy Ghost, the Spirit, you know, whatever it is. There's so many options for it. But even the Buddha, Dharma, and Sadgara, the community, you know, the teacher, the teaching, and the community. So there's a trinity in everything. That was just a little extra. So back on to the point. Create this internal mind deep in your meditative state, where you can meditate inside your mind while you're meditating, and you can experience all these visual capacities. And when you're at this state, you can unleash your full potential of imagination, and maybe you can travel deep within the woods of this temple, traveling deep on your own spiritual journey, diving deeper into your subconscious mind, and achieving what images bring forth realizations of this experience. And so as you make your way, maybe you come to a tree in the forest that is a tree that you grew up around, one that grew up in your yard growing up. And you sit under this tree and you experience the rays of peace and tranquility just from sitting here present in the moment. And you dive into your mind as you meditate, and peace and clarity all come to you, and you just become aware of the universe and the happenings of existence. So I pray that this has helped you in some sort of way in your own guiding towards this internal sanctuary, into your own internal library, your own Akashic library, where you can cultivate greater practices of your spiritual mindset within your mind. Create an actual metaphor reality in your mind that you can do your practices, do your experiences, practice your yoga, practice your singing, practice whatever you want to improve in your mind's eye. And you'll find so many improvements in all aspects of your life. I pray that this has helped you, and I wish you all the best. Unlimited prayers shine through you. Namaste.